Hey there, folks. Welcome to their Stu's Game Reviews live stream. We're doing something a little weird today. I got this thingy called Caroline's Presents Johnny Cocktails, and it says on it, the break you've been waiting for, be the world's funniest stand-up comic at New York's hottest comedy club, which we're talking about Caroline's on Broadway, which was a comedy club in New York that was around for, I don't know, about 40 years, but it closed down like a few years ago because they couldn't pay basically the person who owned the company that owned the building raised their rent, but it was owned by the Kuwait Development Corporation apparently, which seems a little bit shady to me. But in any case, I never was there. I've been to New York many times. I've been to comedy clubs in New York many times. I've never been to Caroline's. I've heard of it. I never had any desire to go there. I don't know, didn't sound like particularly interesting to me, to be really honest. But they made a CD-ROM game apparently, and you get to be a stand-up comic. For some reason, they made it this weird-ass claymation style. So you're supposed to be in Caroline's Comedy Club, but obviously it doesn't really look like you're there because you're a claymation guy. And then it says on it, like, it says on the back, realistic graphics and clay animation. It's the authentic interior of Caroline's just as comedy devotees see it in New York, but not really because it's claymation. And then it says on the back here also, it has the voice of Bobby Slayton, the pit bull of comedy. Anybody ever hear of him? Because I haven't. Maybe I'm just behind the times, but the famous Bobby Slayton, the pit bull of comedy. I don't know. I tried this before, and I don't really think it's particularly funny. I'll just tell you right now. Again, maybe my standards are too high or too low. I'm not really sure. Hey, always asleep. Always says interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. That's what it is. Pitbull himself. Right, exactly. It's really weird, honestly. Well, let's get started. We jump into it, and you see what it is. But yeah, again, it's this is the box. So let's play the damn thing. Oh, just if you're watching this after the fact, you're not here live, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really would appreciate it. And hopefully you can catch a live stream in the future. Also, give me a like if you like this type of weird stuff. Or if you just like me, if you like my smiling face, give me a like. Or if not, or leave a comment. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And feel free to check out my Discord as well. All right, without further ado, let us get to the actual title here. Just going to move this over slightly. And let's run this thing. So first it starts with this freaking weird thing. It's already putting you in a great mood here. Proc live from Great Bear. I guess it's the company. So this is Johnny Cocktails. And basically, what you're supposed to do is make a stage act by taking jokes from all these different categories. They start you with Johnny opening jokes, but there's like lots of different jokes here. So if you want to make a routine, you can. I don't really see the point of that. We could do that just for the heck of it afterwards, but I mean, first you have to listen to all the jokes, right, to understand like what they're saying. Let's like a good crowd. So let's see what that is.
Hiya, folks. It's great to be here tonight at Caroline's. You look like a terrific crowd.
I mean, that's not much of a joke, right? But I guess that's an opening. So let's skip opening. Let's start from something else. Go to the top, I guess. Let's pick animals. Whoops. Animals. Animals. All right, let's try this.
A blind guy walks into an antique store and he starts to swing his dog by the hind legs. The store owner yells at him, "Hey, what are you doing?" The blind guy says, "Just browsing."
What? Let's see. What? Let me try it again. Why is my mouse drifting? Stop doing that. Are you dead drifting? All right.
A blind guy walks into an antique store and he starts to swing his dog by the hind legs. The store owner yells at him, "Hey, what are you doing?" The blind guy says, "Just browsing."
Oh, because he's hitting stuff with. It's like, is his cane? I don't really get that. Do you get that always asleep? Let's try the next one.
Little old man walks into a bar and says, "Who owns that huge Rottweiler tied up outside?" Guy gets up and says, "That's my dog. So what?" The old man says softly, "Well, I think he's dead." The guy roars, "Dead? How did he die?" "My Chihuahua killed him," said the old man. How can a 2-pound chihuahua kill a 200-pound Rottweiler, says the guy. Well, says the old man, I think he choked on him.
Haha. I mean, I would have say like the voice of the comic doing the delivery is very bad. First of all, you can hardly hear him. It's like, it's wrong, like I don't like say the jokes. I can actually hear it. Guy with duck on his head.
Guy walks into a shrink's office with a duck on his head. The shrink says, okay, what's the problem? The duck says, I can't get this guy off my ass.
All right, so like, let's just take a few of these and put them in the stage act because I don't know what like over here if you watch it you don't get to see it on the stage even though it's not really much funnier, but let's at least try to do the stage act. We'll put all the rest of these that we haven't heard yet. 1 second. Sorry. 1 sec, guys. Hold on 1 second. 1 sec. All right, sorry about that. All right, let me put this into the let's start a stage act here. Let's go to the stage.
Caroline is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
A lady calls up a doctor and says, Doc, I got a problem. My husband eats nothing but dog food. And the doctor said, don't worry about it. It's probably just a phase. A few weeks later, the lady calls the doctor back and says, my husband's dead. The doctor was shocked. I can't imagine, said the doctor, how the dog food could have killed him. Oh, it wasn't that, said the lady. He broke his neck trying to lick himself. My wife's got the dog trained to pee on a newspaper while I'm reading it. A blind guy standing at a street corner with a seeing eye dog. The dog proceeded to take a leak on the blind guy's pant leg. The blind guy then reached into his pocket, pulled out a biscuit, and gave it to the dog. A woman saw this and said, no, you should not give your dog a reward. He just peed on you. And the blind guy said, I'm not trying to reward him. I'm trying to find his face so I can kick him in the ass.
I don't get it, guys.
Farmer's walking down the street with a 3-legged pig. Passerby stops the farmer and says, hey, that's a very unusual pig you got. The farmer turns to him and says, son, this is the greatest pig in the world. It saved my wife from drowning, it saved me from a fire, and it saved my son when he fell down a well. Hey, that's great, but how come he's only got 3 legs? The farmer says, son, a pig this great you don't want to eat all at one time.
This is like not funny.
The other day, my wife comes crying to me and says, honey, the dog ate the tuna casserole. I said, don't worry, baby, I'll get you a new dog. 2 Shriners are walking down the street. They came upon a dog that was licking his privates. The first Shriner turned to the other and said, God, I wish I could do that. The second Shriner said, go ahead, but I think you better pet him first.
I've heard that before. So he ran out of jokes for the sets. Now he just does nothing until you leave. Or you can click on random people in the audience, then he'll insult them, I think, apparently.
Is that your nose, or are you eating up a mama?
Hey, look at this loser by the bar. He's the kind of guy who wears a mustache to hide the stretch marks.
What? I didn't even get it.
If you want to try something new tonight, the bartender just invented a new drink with prune juice and vodka. He calls it a pile driver.
Huh? What the hell?
Honey, you're so fat, your swimming pool's got stretch marks.
Okay.
Hey, lady, can I borrow that dress? I'm going camping next month.
They didn't even laugh at that one. The laugh track didn't even laugh at that one.
The club owner told this waitress that he'd have to give her a pink slip. She said, okay, make it a size 32.
Okay.
Of course, I shouldn't make fun of that guy. You know, the truth is, he's got a lot of women's phone numbers. Of course, they all start with 976. But hey.
976 was used to be number you call to get a party line and stuff. But
Hey, pal, you look like a model. A model for a Picasso painting. But hey, a model just the same.
You look like a model from Picasso painting also. All right, let's go back to the,
One more time for Johnny Cocktail.
he really sucks, doesn't he? Let's try, so that, what is this now? Can I remove all these? Oh god, I gotta take out each one at a time. All right, let's insert all of these. And you can't like insert them all. You can't like, there's no like option to like take them all and insert all of them. You can either drag them one at a time, or you gotta go down here, click insert. Like this is like so bad. The interface is horrible too. But I guess I could just click on them individually, but then I just hear the audio. It doesn't even move. I'd rather like hear the stupid, like see the guy do the performance. Do you think there's like one good joke in here somewhere? I'm really curious, honestly.
Caroline's is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
Whoa, I have an announcement just in from the management. Will the owner of a 72 metallic green Nova please move your car? It's not blocking anybody. It's just an embarrassment to the club.
Sort of obvious there.
Come on, folks. I can't do this on my own. Work with me. Work with me here.
That's not funny.
Wow, what a great-looking audience. But then again, I'm blind without my glasses, so what the hell do I know?
Like seriously.
Hey, somebody put a mirror in front of this one's nose. I want to see if it's still alive. Come on, laugh a little bit, will you? Not up here for my health.
If you tell a funny joke, we'll fucking laugh. Hey, Jim. It is Bobby
Hey, babe, you
Sleep.
want to follow me into the men's room? The doctor told me not to lift anything heavy.
You've heard of him, Jim? I never heard of this guy.
Hey, you know, it's nice to look out in the audience and see so many familiar faces. This guy's from Cops, Unsolved Mysteries, America's Most Wanted.
Very famous comedian. Really, what's he famous for?
What am I doing, talking to myself up here?
No, you're just telling bad jokes.
Oh, man, I haven't seen this many stiffs since I worked at the morgue.
His reading jokes someone else read is actually always says, as he knows he's really unfunny, so far he's nailed it. That was way funnier. That was way funnier than the stand-up. No, I honestly cannot believe that Caroline's on Broadway, even though I never went there and it's probably shit, I can't believe they were willing to put their name on this horrible comedy. Yeah, he's reading jokes somebody else wrote, but it's horrible. Hey there, hey James, how's it going, man? Let's try the next section of wonderful jokes here. I mean, I know I should put like all audience slam in one in a row. I'm trying to hear them all. Audience suck up. Oh, jeez. Let's just skip this. This is probably stupid.
You know, I feel a lot of love in this room tonight, gang. I hope you're all carrying protection. Oh, man, you're a great crowd. What do you say we all fly to Vegas and get married? I'm telling you, this is a great-looking audience. And I'm not just saying that to get cheap applause.
Because you're not getting any applause.
Hiya, folks. It's great to be here. Oh, man, you're a great crowd. I'd like to buy every one of you a free round. I can't, and I won't, but I'd like to. Hey, you're a great crowd tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, please. No, you're too kind. Please, stop, more. Stop. You folks are great. You should have been here last night. Somebody should have been here last night. You're a great crowd. Every single one of you. You're all coming home with me after the show.
Yes, so bad. Let's try the business. Maybe the business jokes are funny. Oh no, I need to click on it.
With a hat in each hand. And I said to the guy, how come you got two hats? The beggar said, business is so good, I've opened up a branch office.
What? So what are all these jokes they wanted to comedian? Why don't they have the comedian write the jokes then, Jim? Like again, this is a stupid idea to begin with. Okay, it's a stupid idea. But if they want it to be like anything interesting, at least make the jokes funny. These jokes are like from the 20s. They're not from like the 90s. They're from the 20s, for the most part.
Caroline is proud to present Johnny.
Why did they make a claymation?
I go to the jewelry store because my wife says she wants a choker. A week later, I went back and demanded my money back. The salesman said, sir, there's nothing wrong with this choker. I said, yeah, there is. It didn't work.
That was very, 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 very obvious.
Mr. Kuchar takes his secretary on the road for business, and they're forced to share a bed at a motel. As they're lying in bed, Mr. Kuchar turns to the secretary and says, "How would you like to pretend to be Mrs. Kuchar just for a night?" Secretary says, "Okay," and Kuchar yells, "Then get up and
I
close
have
that
a
damn
headache.
window."
Okay. Get up and close the window. Ha ha ha. You're probably right, Jim. They don't pay royalties in public
You know what the
domain
difference is
jokes.
between a chess player and a teamster? A chess player moves every once in a while. A lady walks into the market and asks a butcher, "How much do you get for chickens?" The butcher says, $1.69 a pound. The lady says, "That's not good. The market down the street sells chickens for $1.49 a pound, but they're all out." And the butcher snaps back, "Hey, lady, if I was out of chickens, I'd sell them to you for $1 a pound." A woman goes into a drugstore and asks a man behind the counter, "Do you sell condoms?" "Yes, we do," said the druggist. "Do you sell large condoms?" "Yes, we do," said the druggist. "Do you sell extra large condoms?" "Yes, we do," said the druggist. The lady just stands there, and finally the man asks her, "So what's the story, lady? Do you want to buy some extra large condoms?" "No, it's okay. I'll just wait here until somebody else does."
That actually was funny. That was the first one that I thought was funny. That's the first one I thought was
So a bum
funny.
comes up to me and says, "Can I borrow 50 cents for a sandwich?" So I give him 50 cents, and I start to follow him. He turns to me and says, "Why are you following me?" I said, "I want to know where I can get a sandwich for 50 cents. Guy walks into a drugstore to buy a condom. The druggist says, "You want the $1 one or the $5 one?" The guy says, "What's the difference?" "Well, the $1 one can be used once, but the $5 one can be washed and used again." So the guy buys a $5 one. A week later, he walks back to the drugstore and says, "Hey, can I get a $1 condom?" "Didn't the $5 one work?" asked the druggist. "Oh, sure," he replied, "but I got a really angry letter from the dry cleaners."
That
Yeah,
was
the
funny.
postage stamp that commemorates prostitution? It's only 29 cents, but if you want to lick it, it's an extra $50.
That's an old joke. That's a Saturday Night Live joke. Chevy Chase made that joke on Saturday
You
Night
know why
Live.
the horse is a symbol of the Teamsters? It's the only animal that sleeps standing up. My lazy brother-in-law goes to a job interview. He says, "Hey, pal, how much does a job pay?" Guy says, $200 a week, but after 6 months, it's $300 a week. My brother-in-law jumps from his chair and says, "Well, then, I'll see you in 6 months." What do Kinney's shoe stores and the U.S. Postal Service have in common? They both have thousands of loafers. I went to one of those fancy uptown restaurants the other day. The waiter came by and said, "Johnny, how'd you find your steak?" I said, "I looked under the potato, and there it was."
It's such an old joke.
One more time for Johnny Cocktail.
There was 2 funny jokes in there. I'm actually surprised. Always seems like the voice is really distinct. To remember from an episode of Dr. Katz. Clear. There we go. Doctors. I wish there was a faster way to do this. It probably is. I just don't know how to do it. Excuse me. I'm gonna keep listening to this, even though probably everybody who's watching this already gave up. But so there's something funny in here. I think it's worth to check out the rest of it. But yeah, this is not the funniest thing in the world for sure.
Caroline's is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
A young couple's making love in an old cemetery. The next day, the woman goes to the doctor complaining of back pain. The doctor says, "Take off all your clothes, and I'll give you a complete physical exam." So the doctor's examining her for a few minutes, and she says, "Doctor, am I okay?" The doctor says, "You're okay, but your butt died in 1923.
No, honestly, the
I
laugh
went to
track
see my
didn't laugh
doctor,
at
and
that.
I said, "Doc, it hurts every time I do this." He said, "Hey, don't do that." The doctor says to his patient, "I'm sorry to tell you this, pal, but you only got 6 months to live." The man says, "Doc, is there anything I can do?" The doctor says, "Yeah, get married, move in with the parents." "Is that going to make me live longer, Doc?" Doctor says, "No, but that 6 months will feel like a lifetime." Hey, I got to say, I'm very glad to be here today, folks. I'm recovering from an operation I had last month. Things didn't go that well. During the operation, the doctor used a 4-letter word that really offended me. Oops.
Slightly funny.
A man calls his doctor and said, "Doc, I got a problem. My wife has a bowel movement every morning at 7. "Well, that's perfectly normal," said the doctor. "But Doc," said the man, "we don't get out of bed till 9.
Cute.
A guy goes to a psychiatrist and says, "Hey, Doc, I feel like everybody's taking advantage of me." The doctor replies, "That's silly. That's just your imagination." The guy sighs in relief, says, "Thanks, Doc, for making me feel much better. How much do I owe you?" The doctor says, "Well, how much you got?" I was real sick recently, and the doctor says, Johnny, don't worry, I'll have you walking in a month. Hey, he was right. When I got the bill, I had to sell my car.
Cute.
Psychiatrist says to his patient, I got good news for you, pal. You're completely cured. The patient sighs, who cares? What's the matter, said the doctor. The man answers, a year ago I was Napoleon. Today I'm nobody.
Oh boy, I think Always Asleep, you might be the only person still
One
here.
more time for Johnny Cocktail.
This is not lighting up the internet, this stream, that's for sure. Drunks on the road, drunks on the grave, drunks in the zoo, drunks on the park bench, 2 drunk minimum. What else is there? Foreigners, Cabbage Patch Kids, King in Singapore, Greek with Girlfriends, Uncle in Canada, New World Order. Let's try all these wonderful jokes. I might as well add these 2 also. These 3. Hit 2 great balls. There we go.
Caroline is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
A drunk staggering in the street was struck by a passing car. The driver slams on the brakes, looks back at the drunk, and shouts, look out, you idiot. The drunk raises his head and says, why? You gonna back up? A drunk falls into an open grave in the middle of winter and is calling out, help, I'm freezing. Another drunk wanders by and calls down, no wonder, you kicked all your dirt off.
What? Oh!
Wander into the zoo and stumble into the lion's cage. They turn around and the lion roars right in their face. The first drunk says, hey, let's get out of here. And the second drunk says, no way, the movie's about to start.
That's cute. Cute.
2 old drunks are sitting on a park bench. The first one says, when I die, I want you to pour a bottle of the best whiskey you can find over my grave. The second drunk thinks about it for a minute and says, is it okay if I drink it first? I'd like to remind everybody there's a 2-drink minimum tonight. As for myself, I don't drink anymore. I don't drink any less, but I don't drink any more.
I like when the
Telling you,
evil
heaven
laugh
and
track
old is
doesn't
coming back
laugh.
in style. The big thing in Mexico now is those Cabbage Patch Kids. It's not what you think. They're just buying them to get the birth certificates.
It's cute.
You know, I just got back from a gig in Singapore recently. Oh, I'm still getting over the caning. Ow. What do you call a Greek guy with 29 girlfriends? A shepherd. My Uncle Murray used to be a lumberjack in Canada. One day he's cutting wood in the backyard and bang, saws off all his fingers. He goes to the doctor. The doctor says, don't worry, pal. With this amazing new laser surgery, I can make your hands as good as new. Just give me the fingers. My Uncle Murray says, I don't have the fingers. The doctor says, why not? My uncle says, hey, I couldn't pick them up. Hey, I'll tell you, it's a great time to be living in. Great changes are happening all over the world. You know, in one of the new Soviet republics, a man went to buy a car. The dealer says to him that car would be delivered to him in 1998. The man said, in the morning or the afternoon? The car dealer said, what difference could that possibly make? The guy said, well, my plumber's coming in the morning.
Some of these jokes are mildly funny.
I was playing golf the other day and hit the 2 best balls of my life. I stepped on a rake. I've stopped playing golf with my stupid brother-in-law. The last time I went with him, he broke his leg. He fell off the ball washer.
What?
So one day I'm playing around to golf with my buddy when a funeral goes by. He stops at mid-swing and he takes off his hat. I said, what are you doing, pal? We've been playing it for 12 years. We've seen 100 funerals go by. Why did you stop playing golf for this one? He says, it's the least I could do. I was married to the woman for 20 years.
That's cute. That's old one, but cute. That's it. We're out of jokes already.
One more time for Johnny Cocktail.
I wish you could just play all the jokes. That would make more sense. I think this is just like, yeah, you can make him like do stuff. Don't need to play there even. Body language. I know that's what I'm saying. What's the point of this? Like, what's the point of adding body language into a stand-up routine? Is the idea like you're gonna make this custom stand-up routine and then call your friends over and then you're gonna play this for them? Like, what is the point of even having this? That's what I don't understand. Johnny bombing.
Whoa, what is this, an audience or a lynch mob?
Catchphrase.
Oh boy, am I hot tonight, folks.
So I guess you can make him say the same catchphrase over and over again if you want to.
Women look at me as a sex object. I offer them sex, and they object.
Caroline's kiss up.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to be here tonight at Caroline's, one of my favorite clubs in the country.
Yeah, they do stuff like that where they kiss up to whatever, but
I understand somebody in the crowd tonight celebrating their anniversary. Where are you?
oh, that's a transition. It's not a joke. I see. Like, okay. Johnny takes a drink. Let's look at the Johnny ones. Let's do kids. Let's do the kids. Bad table batters, English Channel, in the bathroom, kids with money, Morris, my kid's birthday, my kid's history test. I wish there was a way to do this faster. The kid's pool, ugly kid. What comes after 10? Let's play this.
Caroline is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
My mother-in-law's watching my kid. She says to my son, you know you have terrible table manners. Didn't you learn anything from watching your parents at dinner? Sure did, my kid said. Never get married. The kids today. My son thinks English Channel is one of those new cable stations.
Okay.
My kid says to me, does Jesus use our bathroom? I said, no, why would you think that? He says, well, every morning you pound on the bathroom door and scream, Christ, are you still in there? Three kids are deciding how they're going to spend the $2.50 they earn from mowing lawns. The first kid says, listen, you give me the money and I will buy the most amazing thing you've ever seen. So the kids give him the money and he returns with a box of tampons. The two other kids said, what are these things? Kid says, I don't know. But on the box it says these things will let us go horseback riding, swimming, bike riding.
That's cute.
An old lady walks up to a boy and says, hey kid, what's your name? The little boy says, my name's Morris. Morris what? Asks the lady. The kid thinks about it for a couple of minutes and says, I know. It's Morris. Stop playing with yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know, my kid turned 10 the other day. My wife and I said, what do you want for your birthday? He said, I want to watch. So we let him.
Oh, God.
My kid was taking a history test the other day, and the teacher says to him, just how far are you from the right answers? My son replied, oh, about 2 seats. I got a call the other day from my son's teacher. She says, your son is not allowed in the school's pool anymore. I said, why not? She says to me, he pees in the deep end. And I said, come on, all kids do that. She says, yeah, but not from the high diving board.
That's funny. You know, it's weird that Jim recognized this guy's voice. Like
My sister-in-law's got one ugly kid. She sent his picture to Ripley. They sent it back and said, sorry, we don't believe it. I'm on the road a lot. Don't get to spend a lot of time with my family. The other day I was trying to teach my little kid to count, and I said, what comes after 10? He said, the milkman.
Oh, God. It's interesting that Jim recognized this guy's voice, because, like, I think his delivery is shit, honestly.
One more time for Johnny Cocktail.
I mean, the jokes are bad, too, but his delivery is not good. It's like, my kid told me the other day, I said, like, just tell the fucking joke. You don't have to give a stupid voice while you do it. Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make the joke better to do a stupid voice. At least that's not my experience. In fact, you can make the joke better if you, like, actually tell it in a like, have some timing in your joke. But I guess not. Let's see all the lawyer jokes that he has. Oh, God, a lot of marriage jokes. Let's put them all in. Why not? Let's see if I can put them all in. At the ball game. Cannonballs. Changes her mind. Cigar the ashtray. 50 pounds. I'm a genie in a bottle. You gotta rub me the right way. I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. Jeopardy. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. This is gonna be the longest one we've done so far. Hopefully it's worth it. What's the last? What's the? Cause we still have a few more after this. Mother-in-law. These put downs. The sound effects too. So there's a lot of these are not even jokes probably. All right, let's see what this is.
Caroline is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
That reminds me of my lawyer. The guy stepped in dog crap and he thought he was melted. You know the best way to get a hold of a lawyer? By the neck. Why don't snakes bite attorneys? Hey, professional courtesy.
That's an old joke. Old joke.
You know what the difference is between lawyers and vultures? Vultures can't take their wingtips off.
Okay.
You know what the difference is between lawyers and vultures? Vultures can't take their wingtips off.
A second delivery
You know
of
what's
that?
black and brown and looks great on a lawyer? A Doberman.
That was so strange.
My wife and I were lying in bed. She says to me, what will I get if I cook you another meal tomorrow like I did tonight? I said, my life insurance policy. Frank and Mike are sitting at the ball game. Frank says, my wife's always complaining I'm not romantic enough. I'll tell you what I do, says Mike. I come home, I dim the lights, open some champagne, put Bolero in the stereo. It gets my wife so worked up we make love for 3 hours. You should try it sometime. So Frank says, I will. Is your wife going to be around tomorrow?
That was so obvious. That was so obvious.
One cannibal says to another cannibal, I don't like wife. And the other one says, so just eat the noodles and stop complaining.
That was obvious but cute.
My wife changes her mind so often she ought to have a flip-top skull. Guy comes home, sees his wife naked in bed with a burning cigar in the ashtray. And he says to his wife, you're going to be in a lot of trouble if you don't tell me where that cigar came from. And a voice from under the bed says, Havana.
Oh, God. I'd say where it came from, say who, you idiot.
My wife just came back from the doctor and said, honey, I just dropped 50 pounds. I said, yeah? On who? A woman finds a genie in a bottle. And the genie says, I'll grant you 3 wishes, but I got to warn you, lady, everything you get, your ex-husband's going to get double. The woman says, fine, I want $10 million. Bang, she gets it. And then bang, her ex-husband gets $20 million.
It's an old
She
joke.
says, I want a Rolls Royce. Bang, she gets it. And her ex-husband gets 2. Then the genie says, okay, you got 1 more wish.
Scare
And
me
she
after
says, I
death.
want you to beat me half to death.
Yeah, beat me after death. Or scare me after death is better, smarter.
My wife was watching the Home Shopping Network, and they advertised a vacuum cleaner that they claimed could cut her work in half. She bought 2. How many married guys do we have in the audience tonight? Oh, okay. Now, how many of you had to bring their wives?
Not me.
So I'm making love with my wife in the backseat of our car, and a cop comes up and shines a flashlight on us. He said, hey, what do you think you're doing? I said, nothing. He said, okay, then. Let me in the car, and you hold the flashlight.
I look
My wife
horrible, I
loves
just
the game show
realized.
Jeopardy. She watches it every night. One night when it was on, I hit my hand with a hammer and yelled, Jesus Christ. From the other side of the room, I hear, who is the Son of God?
You were always asleep.
I came home late the other night, and my wife was screaming. I'm watching her repair the dishwasher. I said, what do I look like, Mr. Fix-It? The next night, she's nagging me. I want you to fix a washing machine. I said, what do I look like, the Maytag man? The third night I come home, my wife says, well, the mailman fixed everything. And I said, what'd you have to pay him? Well, I had the choice of baking him a cake or going to bed with him. And I said, what kind of a cake did you bake him? She said, who do I look like, Betty Crocker?
That's an old joke.
Man walks into a newspaper office and says, I'd like to put an ad in your paper. My wife's cat's missing, and I'm offering a $10,000 reward. Isn't that a lot of money for a cat? The man said, I'm not worried. I killed the SOB yesterday.
What?
My wife complained about not being wanted, so I went to the post office and put her picture up.
Oh, oh, oh.
Marriage is a sacred institution. Of course, who the hell wants to be institutionalized? Two ministers were discussing the lack of morals in the modern world. You know, I didn't sleep with my wife before we were married, said one clergyman self-righteously. Did you? I don't know, said the other. What was her maiden name? Let me tell you the secret to a happy marriage. Every year, my wife and I take an exotic vacation. She goes to Hawaii, I go to Bermuda. The last fight I had with my wife was all my fault. She says to me, "What's on TV?" And I said, "Dust."
Oh God! Do you notice that like when he pretends to be his wife, he like the claymation changed to have like lipstick and like eyelashes or whatever. I mean that's cute effect they can do with
One
claymation.
more
But
time for Johnny Cocktail.
I think your marriage joke was just as funny as his though. Is sleep like marriage, am I right, fellas? That's like actually funnier than this. It's like, oh my God, mother-in-law jokes. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I guess for completionist sake, and also the stream's only been like 36 minutes. Not too many people are here tonight, or maybe some people like came and they just left right away. I'm not sure which one it is, but either way, I'm glad you're staying with me always asleep. You need to hear it all, yeah. God, she sold one, she sold two, she sold three. Victoria's Secret.
Caroline's is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
There were 35 candles on my mother-in-law's birthday cake, and that was only on my piece.
I need a haircut, Bradley. I look horrible. Damn.
This gigantic funeral procession's going down the street. In the front's a black hearse, followed by a Doberman and 200 men walking single file. A passerby asked one of the mourners, "Who died?" The man responded, "My mother-in-law. You see that Doberman up in the front? He ate my mother-in-law." The passerby goes, "Wow, I'd like to borrow that dog someday." And the mourner says, "Yeah, fine. Get in line." My mother-in-law says to me, "Johnny, you're going to drive me to my grave." I had the car out in 2 minutes. My mother-in-law is such an idiot. If she got Alzheimer's disease, her IQ would go up.
I like when even the laugh track doesn't laugh at the dumb joke. That's why I think it's funny.
My mother-in-law said, "Johnny, I'm going to dance on your grave." And I said, "Okay, I'm going to be buried at sea." I'll tell you, folks, it's been a tough week. My mother-in-law almost drowned in an open cesspool. She didn't know how to swim well, but hey, she sure went through all the movements.
Huh?
My mother-in-law said to me, "Johnny, when I die, I bet you make a special trip to my grave just to spit on it." And I said, "No, I got better things to do than stand in line all day." My mother-in-law's big. God, is she big. I took her to the top of the Empire State Building and planes started to attack her. My mother-in-law's 81 years old and doesn't need glasses. Nah, she drinks it right out of the bottle. My mother-in-law says to me, "Johnny, I went to the doctor and he told me I've got the body of a 20-year-old. I said, "Yeah, well, you better give it back because you're getting it all wrinkled." My mother-in-law is so old she remembers when it was called Heinz 27. My mother-in-law, she had the lemon concession at the Boston Tea Party. My mother-in-law is so old her social security number is 2. My wife made me go shopping with my mother-in-law. So she walks into Victoria's Secret and she starts to look at all the negligees. She says, "Hey, Johnny, you think I'd look good in something long and flowing?" I said, "Yeah. How about the Mississippi River?"
Honestly, like it's amazing to me that somebody like had these jokes, and they're like, wow, these would be good jokes to put on the CD-ROM. Like who did this? I still am just amazed at this.
One more time for Johnny Cocktail.
Instead of getting some schmuck to read the jokes, I should have got some like comedian to actually like make the jokes or curate the jokes or something. Not just pick whatever random shit they found. My pal Tony. Are these things related anyway? Old people. VW bug. Political. Nixon stamp. Paula Jones's handwriting. All right, we see what this is from. I was curious what this bald put downs are.
Are you bald or do you just have flesh-colored hair? Hey, if you didn't want the abuse, why did you sit in front? Or wear that shirt?
Yeah, it's not funny.
Well, look over there. Now, there's a fine-looking couple. A couple of what? I couldn't tell you.
Oh, this is like the stuff he says when you click on them.
You're a very nice couple up here in front. You know, my wife says there's only 2 things wrong with me. Everything I do and everything I say.
Flesh colored hair. Is that what it said? Oh, he said that before? Oh, I must have. I guess he said that. I wasn't even paying attention. Sounds. Applause short. That's what it should do every time. I think it would be funny to like do a set where it's like after every one you hear like crickets. Or like boos or something like that. Sounds, laughs, a small laugh. That's like the one I keep laughing at. It's like it's obviously the joke's not funny. All right, let's do this one and we'll come back for stupid people.
Caroline's is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
I run into my pal Tony the other day, and he's got this big black eye. I said, God, Tony, you must have a good excuse for that shiner. Tony said if I had a good excuse, my wife wouldn't have hit me. My friend Tony's rich uncle died last year when he fell off a cliff. I said, Tony, were you close to him? He said, nah, close enough to push him. My buddy Tony comes to see me yesterday, and he's got this parrot on his shoulder. He says, look what I got for my wife. And I said, wow, that looks like a pretty good deal.
Cute.
I'll tell you, mothers-in-laws. My friend's mother-in-law died. He was at the mortuary to make plans for a disposition. The officials said, well, what do you want to do? Cremate her, embalm her, or just bury her? My friend said, all three. I don't want to take any chances. So my grandfather goes into a drugstore to buy a cigar. As soon as he buys it, he lights it up. The store owner runs over and says, sir, you can't smoke in here. My grandfather says, hey, if I buy it here, I should be able to use it here. The store owner says, remind me not to sell you an enema bag. Ms. O'Leary at the retirement home decides she wants to spice up her life by streaking. So she takes off all her clothes and she runs buck naked through the commons. Old Man Smith and Old Man Cronin happen to be sitting on a bench while all this transpired. Smith says, hey, wasn't that Mrs. O'Leary? I believe it was, but what was she wearing? I don't know, but it sure needs ironing.
It's old joke. Old joke.
So these two old ladies are driving a VW Bug when the engine gives out. The first old lady opens up the hood and says, no wonder, somebody's stolen the engine. The second old lady says, don't worry, I got a spare in the trunk. An old man sat on the street crying his eyes out. So I said to the guy, pal, what's the matter? The old man says, I got a beautiful young wife, and all she wants to do is make love to me all day long. Really, I said. Then why are you crying? The old man screamed, I can't remember where I live.
Also a very old joke.
You hear about the new stamps the post office is putting out? They came out with a commemorative Nixon stamp, but it was recalled because people kept spitting on the wrong side. Hillary Clinton walked outside the White House to see the words "Screw Hillary" written in P in the snow. So she calls up the CIA and said, I want you to find out right away who did this. The CIA guy comes back in an hour and says, Mrs. Clinton, I've got some good news and some bad news and some really bad news. The good news is we found out who did it. The bad news is it was a president. The really bad news, it was in Paula Jones' handwriting.
I have heard that before, but it's still funny. That's cute. That was cute.
One more time for Johnny Cocktail.
Paula Jones' handwriting. It's silly. It's like that makes no sense, but that's why it's funny. That was actually one of the funny ones. There's very few funny jokes in here, but there are like a handful, but very few. What do you think? Always asleep. I think it's just you and me, buddy. Disappointed. More people aren't here. Sometimes YouTube just does not notify people. Sister-in-law, sister-in-law. Oops, I put, that doesn't matter what the order is. The South, there's a few. Actually, that's the last one. Might as well just put them in also. Put them at the end, though. Here we go.
Caroline's is proud to present Johnny Cocktail.
My brother-in-law's a moron. I got him a tie for his birthday. He brought it back. Said it was too tight. My sister-in-law's making love to her boyfriend. She said, Morty, you know I don't like having sex with the lights on. He said, okay, I'll close the car door. My sister-in-law's a moron. She says to me, Johnny, do you know what I'm going to be when I graduate from college? I said, yeah, a senior citizen. I said to my wife, how come your sister's got a square chest? She tells me because she keeps forgetting to take the Kleenex out of the box. My brother-in-law's so cheap he took his pregnant wife to Domino's Pizza because he heard they had free delivery.
Sort of cute.
My stupid brother came to see me at Caroline's last week, and he's standing by the bar. Customer comes up and says, give me an R&C. The bartender says, 1 rum and Coke, coming up. Another guy walks up to the bar and says, give me a G&T. Okay, sir. 1 gin and tonic coming up. Then my stupid brother-in-law turns to the bartender and says, okay, pal, give me a 15. The bartender says, what's a 15? He says, it's a 7 and 7. My stupid brother-in-law's on a cruise ship and an old man falls overboard. The man screams up, help, throw me a lifesaver. My brother-in-law yells back, all I have is a Tic Tac. My brother-in-law walks into a drugstore to buy some deodorant. The clerk says, the ball type? He says, no, it's for my underarm. My sister-in-law's another moron. She's in the hospital now with frostbite. Her and a date went to the drive-in movie called Closed for the Winter. I'll tell you, my brother's an idiot. The other day, he takes a frozen orange juice can out of the freezer. He's looking at it for 2 hours. I said, what are you doing? He said, I took it out and it said concentrate. I'm hunting with my brother-in-law. He turns to me and says, I got to take a dump. What am I supposed to use for toilet paper? I said, just use $1. He comes back 15 minutes later walking funny. I said, what are you walking so funny for? He said, hey, you'd walk funny too if you had 4 quarters stuck up your butt.
Oh, that's stupid.
My brother-in-law's accountant told him to invest heavily in CDs, so we went out and joined the Columbia Record and Tape Club. So my idiot brother-in-law calls me up the other day. He says he's all excited about completing a jigsaw puzzle in 6 months. I said, 6 months? That's not very good. He says to me, what are you talking about? The box said from 4 to 5 years.
Oh, okay, I got it now.
My sister-in-law is so stupid she thought she could trade in her menstrual cycle for a Honda.
Yeah, I'm definitely unimpressed.
Not only is my brother-in-law an idiot, he's lazy too. He thinks manual labor is the president of Mexico. I was playing a gig in Arkansas. A month after I left, the owner of the club dies and leaves everything to his wife. Of course, she doesn't get it till she turns 13. You know what they call a 56 Buick in Alabama? The bridal suite.
Sheesh.
Oh man, I played some backward towns in the South. You know what they call a good-looking girl in Arkansas? A tourist. A Texan walks into a bar in Alaska. He says he wants to be an honorary Alaskan. The bartender says, fine, but you got to do 3 things to qualify. You got to drink a 5th of whiskey, you got to wrestle a polar bear, and you must make love to an Eskimo girl. The Texan downed the 5th of whiskey, and then feeling no pain, staggers out to look for the polar bear. Sometime later, torn to shreds, he drags himself back into the bar. All right, he said, where's that Eskimo girl I'm supposed to wrestle?
That was her. Oh, God. All right.
I was in one place down south, and I asked the club owner what the state capital was. He said, oh, I don't know, about $12. So I'm playing a club down south, and a kid in the audience is wearing a University of Georgia sweatshirt. And I said to him, hey, I heard everybody at Georgia was either a dumb football player or an nymphomaniac. Just then this giant 300-pound redneck jumps up and says, hey, you jerk, my daughter goes to the University of Georgia. And I said, really? What position does she play?
Well, I guess that's it. That's like basically all the jokes that I think that we've seen out here.
One more time for Johnny Cocktail.
Always seems that Stu is unimpressed. And you're right, Stu is unimpressed. I just don't get what the whole point of this thing was. Like, the whole concept of it makes no sense. It's like, it says, after you perfect your act, impress your friends, or create a gig for special occasions. Like, what the hell are you supposed to do with this? I just don't get it, honestly. So, and if the jokes are funny, then maybe it would be worth it, but the jokes are not funny. Like, there was like 2 or 3 funny jokes out of like, I don't know, 100, and a couple of ones that I chuckled at, but for the most part, this wasn't funny at all, honestly. So I don't get it, and I really am amazed that Caroline's like put their name on this thing. They obviously, I don't know if they paid Caroline's for the name or what, but like, and I'm not saying Caroline's is a good bar, a good comedy club, but I'm surprised any comedy club put their name on this thing, because if I bought this, I would be like, I'm never going to Caroline's in my entire life. I mean, that's what happened. That's why they closed down. I don't know. It always seems, I guess it can be mildly fun to create an act and make it flow well, but also no, because it's not funny. Yeah, what are you supposed to do with the act once you do it? Like, upload it to YouTube? I mean, this is from 1994. So what the hell was the point? I get what was the point? I don't know. So we're gonna end this here. It's almost an hour, not quite, but I mean, we're out of content for this crappy title. If you've played this thing ever, if you ever seen this before, please leave a comment. Let me know if you've ever heard of this or seen it or whatever. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think in general. But thanks to Always Asleep, who was here for this whole chat. Thanks to Jim Leonard, who was here for a little bit, and James. And most of the regulars were not here today, unfortunately, which is sad. But we miss them. Oh, Kayla was here too. Okay. Hey, Kayla. If you're watching this after the fact, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And give me a like. And let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, this is pretty bad. And I'm sorry that it sucked so bad, but I sort of knew that was going to be the case. So thanks for hanging out with me, whoever did. So for now, I'm going to end this here. Have a great night, everybody. And peace out, y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.